Hey, I'm Chris Cafaro.
And I'm Nick Cafero.
We're real-life brothers who play fake-life brothers Reed and Easton Royal on the hit podcast, The Royals of Malibu.
On this companion podcast, we'll be doing a deep dive into each episode, giving behind-the-scenes insights, talking to some special guests, and maybe even having some laughs along the way.
Welcome to The Royal Boys.
Happy New Year, Chris.
Happy New Year! This is our first time in the new year, but this episode's going to come out in like February, so everyone's going to be like, these losers are so far behind everything.
I know. Well, we had a great little hiatus, vacation, and holiday season together.
We really did.
You got something for Christmas.
I did, but the doctors knocked it out with some antibiotics, and they said it's not going to come back, so we're good. We're good.
That's good. What else?
It was chlamydia.
What else did you get?
No, I got a wonderful gift from my brother. I've got, I'll hold it to the camera, although this is an audio medium, a matching friendship bracelet.
We got friendship bracelets.
That we discussed with Hannah Montoya. Nick got me a friendship bracelet that says TRB, the Royal Boys on it. It's very sweet. It's very delicate and feminine, but I like it.
It did not look that way on the website. When I got them, I couldn't believe it. I typed in masculine male bracelets, and it was supposed to be this royal blue thick rope with the TRB on the silver part, and it came in and it looked like half the size of a rubber band. You could floss your teeth with it if you want.
Exactly. That's the great part about it, is that if you get something in your teeth, you can take it off, you can get it out. There's hard to reach places. No, it's a very thoughtful gift. It's a very sweet gift. I wear it all the time, and I love it. And it was a very nice gift. Better than what I got. What did I get you? I got shoes.
No, you got me some nice shoes and a picture over my bed. I mean, a lot of people don't exchange gifts, so the fact that we got each other anything is great.
That's true. And we also got to take a trip together with our family and my girlfriend. We all went to Grand Cayman over the New Year, which was unbelievable. And we actually had to
talk about that.
Well, I want to tell a quick story, though, because I think it's important for our listeners. We were on an airplane. We were flying to an island, and the weather was really, really bad, and the plane was wobbling back and forth, and we were making the approach. We were a couple hundred feet off the ground. We could see the land, and all of a sudden, the airplane just pulls up and accelerates, and we just start accelerating, and the little thing on the back of the seat was telling us our altitude was climbing and climbing and climbing. And everyone was looking around what the heck is going on? And then the pilot got on 20 minutes later after we'd been flying God knows where. And she was like, hey, so a little bit of a detour here. We couldn't see the runway. The conditions were really bad and it was getting dangerous. So we had to abort the landing. Anyway, we're heading to Jamaica. And then she shut off, and we were all thought she was joking because she was so cavalier about it. We made an emergency landing in Jamaica, and we were there for 3 hours. We refueled, and then we went back to where we were originally supposed to land. And as we were landing, yet again, it was bumpy. It was scary. And I was sitting next to Nick and my girlfriend. The plane was going back and forth and back and forth. And finally, we touched down after what was supposed to be a 3.5 hour flight. It was 9 hours, and everybody on the plane started clapping. And I turned to Nick and I said, hey, Nick, is it acceptable for us to clap now? And he just smiled and nodded yes.
Yeah, that was my royal decree a couple weeks ago. Don't clap when the plane lands. But we were in danger, and the pilot did a great job of getting us to where we needed to be.
It was scary.
It was a little scary.
Yeah. But all was well that ended well. But man, that tickled me very much to be able to look you in the eye after that and hear everyone around us clapping.
And then I literally tickled you on the plane.
Right. Which was inappropriate. And after the TSA officers dragged you off, we settled everything. A few more hours. We got through customs. You had the charges dropped and everything was fine.
Well, Chris, thank you for sharing that and making me look bad. But we need to get moving because we have, in my humble opinion, the best guest we've had so far on this episode. My favorite guest. I have no problem saying that.
I believe you. She is my favorite guest too. We are in for a treat. Several commenters and fans have been asking for her because she's been mentioned throughout the podcast.
I think every episode, probably.
Yeah. She's extremely well suited to chime in on what we're doing because she knows Nick and I better than anyone. She is a licensed clinical social worker with a master's in social work. She is a mother and a stepmother, but most importantly, she is our sister, ladies and gentlemen, Jacqueline Cafaro.
Yay! Jacqueline! It's our sister, Royal Girl.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you for being here.
I'm so glad we can finally give the person what they want.
Yeah, that one commenter on
That
Spotify
one single person
has been begging for Jacqueline to come on because she's been mentioned in almost every episode. Well, your wish is our command. Jacqueline, can you please tell our listeners why I just introduced you as Jacqueline Cafaro and why that is not a joke?
Sure can. So my maiden name, obviously, since I'm related to both of you, was Cafaro. And it's funny because my whole life, when I learned the concept of women having to change their name, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to do that. I always said that. All my friends knew that. In high school and college, it was like, if it ever came up, I would be like, yeah, I'm not going to be changing my name. I love my last name. And then, long story short, I end up marrying a guy whose last name is Cafaro, Cafaro. And I ended up having to change my last name because the logistics of it were so confusing. You should have seen me at Social Security when I went to change my name. It was like a 6-hour process, not because of the line, but because no one understood what I was doing. But yeah, so exchanging vowels was our hashtag when wedding hashtags were a thing, courtesy of Chris.
That's still
nice
joke
Chris.
I'm most proud of, exchanging vowels.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Thanks. And I implored you to hyphenate, but you didn't. Cafaro, tomato.
At that wedding, exchanging vowels, you had 2 really great speakers do a speech. How long was that speech?
It was about 18 minutes.
Was it really 18 minutes?
It was 18 minutes.
That's unacceptable. That is too long.
And if your viewers give enough requests, I will share the YouTube video.
No, I'm going to veto that.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to veto that.
We should do the math of how much that cost with the amount you were spending on the wedding, the total time. Let's not say it on air, but I'm sure it was more than Chris or I have ever made for any performance.
Yeah, but it was amazing, and probably, besides actually getting married, one of my favorite parts of the whole wedding. So I would do it again, and I would want you to do it again. The nods to the musicals was key.
Yeah,
for me.
Yes, they were necessary because, Jacqueline is really the reason that Chris and I are in the entertainment business. She's our older sister, but she was like addicted to Broadway musicals growing up. At least that's how I remember it. And you would take me to all the musicals. We would sing Rent together, which really wasn't age appropriate, but it was when the lyrics were on the inside of the CD flaps, and we would sing the duets.
I literally remember
shows on my birthday.
I was like 15 or 14. I went downstairs. No, I was younger than that. I was maybe 12. I went downstairs to our mom and I was like, Mom, what's sodomy? She was like, spit her tea out.
Jeez.
She's like, why are you asking me that? I'm like, because it's a lyric in La Vie Boheme. And yeah, then it was vetoed. That was going to be my 12th birthday gift.
12?
To go to the show.
Sodomy?
Yeah. That was going to be my 12th birthday gift. And then that prompted her to read the lyrics. And she was like, yeah, we're not going to be going to that. So we went to Annie, Get Your Gun instead.
Just a child with a rifle is so much better than singing about bohemian life in the Lower East Side. But
I did end up seeing it on my 16th birthday and then like 19 times there since.
Wow. Yeah, Jacqueline, you're the reason I ever performed for the first time because you went behind my back in high school and you signed me up for a cabaret night, like talent show / fundraiser to perform a sketch from Saturday Night Live with J. Ray, captain of the wrestling team. He played Will Ferrell.
Jay, if you're listening,
Jay's a big fan. Jay's a big fan of the pod. He's an All-American wrestler. Yeah, he played we both played cheerleaders. He played the Will Ferrell role. I played the Sherry O'Terry role because I was like 90 pounds at the time, and the rest is history. Jacqueline, I real quickly do rapid fire without thinking. Just answer. First answer comes to your head. Who do you like better, Chris or Nick? Go.
Pass.
Damn it.
Well, that is a good segue, and I'm all about segues. Yeah. Jacqueline.
Really bad ones, but yes.
Oh, do you listen? She listens. She knows you suck at transitions.
I listen, and I do have some things I need to address, but I'll let you do your shitty segue first.
Okay, thank you. Do you listen to the Royal Boys, or do you listen to all of it? Do you listen to Royals of Malibu?
I only listen to the Royal Boys. I have listened to one singular episode of the Royals of Malibu, and that is the one for this, so we can have this conversation. And that is saying something because I have watched every single thing the two of you have ever done since you were like 8 years old. I mean, I like Nick when you were like prepubescent, and Annie and Chris and Scapino and the girl in the door, whatever,
girl
where
in the mirror
kid was spitting all over everybody. Like I've seen.
Jacqueline, what about when I was in The Music Man and you were living in London and you called our mom and you stayed on the line and she held her phone the entire show so you can listen to it?
Yeah. So like I have gone to great lengths to see and be around and, all your content I consume, except for this, because I heard one very scarring clip like Stitch on TikTok. And I was like, yeah, this is not for me. So luckily in this episode, Nick almost only dies and there's nothing sexual. It's just he almost ODs, which is obviously, it's just very sad, but I'll take that over any sexual innuendos or any of that. That's not for me.
There was no innuendo.
But I'm glad
it's pretty blatant.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then I heard that like teenagers, young teenagers are listening to it, but
But wait a second, real quick. Young teenagers are listening to it. You were 12 years old listening to Rent, so maybe this there is some. This is Rent. This is somebody's Rent. We are the Jonathan Larson of our generation.
Hopefully, with a better ending.
Multiple Tony Awards.
Jacqueline, do you know anything about Easton Royal and Reed Royal? At least,
well, all I know is what I've picked up on because I've listened to all of these. Your companion podcast.
Well, let me just put it this way. A lot of the questions we get from our guests have been, are you and Chris similar to your characters? And I feel like no one is more qualified to answer that than you. That is, if you know our characters.
Well, I mean, I have a gist. I think that no, you're not. Well, maybe in some ways, I think like hearing on this most recent episode, how much Reed loves Easton and like how loyal they are to each other and protective of each other. Like that definitely is very much on brand for the two of you. Nick, never been a big drug guy.
No.
So that's definitely not you. Same with, Chris, not a big athlete.
Excuse me. NCAA Division I athlete here, more than you guys.
Yeah, well, I would like it to be known that I am unequivocally the most athletic of the three of us.
Untrue.
I don't know.
Untrue.
Without a doubt.
It's untrue.
It's definitely not you, Chris.
That's fine.
So, like, Easton is more like the wisecracking class clown. Reed is more the quiet, emotional, brooding guy.
So you're the opposites. Because Nick's more emotional, brooding, and Chris is
obnoxious.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
an unathletic asshole.
Okay, I'm quite athletic. Thank you very much.
I'm just kidding.
Division I athlete, NCAA scholarship. It's not a big deal. It's not.
You were a mascot, dude.
Don't.
You were in a giant inflatable hippo suit.
And you were in a robe singing a cappella, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But actually, this is one of the things, there were two things I wanted to address, and one of them was this. In one of the episodes recently, I think it was the one with Hannah, you two were like talking about what you were like in high school. And it very much was like coming across like you were like these like nerdy band kids. And like, that is not the case at all.
Thank you.
Yes, you were in the band.
But the band was cool.
But it was like you were definitely, I mean, we went to such like a different type of high school. I'm not there wasn't like the popular kids necessarily, but if there were, like, you were in that group, you were cool. So I don't know. I feel like everyone that's listening,
thanks, Mom,
everyone should know that you were not like these losers.
No, we weren't
not
losers.
On my watch anyway.
No, we were generally well liked, but you were definitely the coolest of the three of us in high school. And I was lucky enough to go to high school for 2 years with you. And I'm very grateful because you really took me under your wing, not only signing me up behind my back for a talent show, but bringing me to parties and inviting me out and making sure nobody, picked on me because I was such a little. People used to call me, what was the name of Lizzie McGuire's younger brother? Old Man Alarm, Lizzie McGuire.
You're so fucking old.
His name was like Max or something, or
I forgot.
But he had.
I think it was little bitch boy with spiky hair, only weighs 98 pounds.
That was it.
Wait, wasn't that from Even Stevens or something?
No,
Beans?
You're thinking of Shia LaBeouf.
Did people call you Beans?
Oh.
No, it was the kid from. It was Lizzie McGuire's brother. He had spiky hair and braces and like looked just like me.
Yeah, you looked
and was
exactly
just like
him.
obnoxious and always like butting his head in, and that was me.
So, well, anyway, I just thought it was important that people know that you were very well liked, beloved Brian McMahon senators.
Thank you so much, and it has been nothing but downhill from there. Should we get into the episode? Because I have so many questions for Jacqueline. And also, this was not intentional, but I think this is a perfect episode for you to come on for as I re-listen to it. So let's just get right into it. What do you say?
Do it, Nick. Lead us off.
Okay, episode 11, They Always Promise, because they always do.
They always promise.
And we open up the episode at a family photo shoot that Brooke, the evil stepmom, has set up for the family. Let's start there.
Yeah.
Stepmom.
Jacqueline, you are the queen of the organized family photo shoot. And I had the amount of ribbing and shit I've gotten from my friends for pictures of us posted wearing matching pajamas over the holidays or doing like a photo shoot on the beach. It has been brutal and relentless, but I am unapologetic about it because I think it's very sweet and very, very nice.
Yeah, thank you. And you will all thank me one day when we're like old and disgusting and we get to like look at,
pictures when we were young and disgusting.
Right, yeah. Exactly. But so that, like I said, I haven't listened to this before. I did know Brooke was the stepmom. And Brooke is unwell.
Yes.
She's doing everything wrong from a stepmom standpoint.
Oh, tell us.
Go on.
Go on.
Well, first of all, I get there's something with like a sex tape she's going to release. So she's blackmailing her husband.
Mm-hmm. So you don't think that's, as a stepmom, you would say avoid.
Yeah. So that goes
avoid blackmail with deep fake porn. Okay,
blackmail.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Avoid like any physical interaction with your stepchild. That is inappropriate.
Good.
Well, there is a whole subset of videos on the internet that would disagree with that, but go on.
Disgusting. And yeah, she's just a little bitch. I don't like her.
Yes. I don't think there's anything wrong with her doing a family photo shoot. But
no, of course not.
The way she goes about doing it. Yeah.
Well, she's just a psycho. Like, do we find out in this episode she faked her pregnancy too?
Well, don't give it away.
At the end of the episode, we do find that out. But Jacqueline, here's something. I don't know if you remember. Of course you remember this. But I remember when you married your husband, our brother-in-law, who we love dearly, and he had children of his own. You were like, Disney has made the stepmom the evil stepmom. They have put this stigma around it. And you wanted to make it your mission to change that and maybe write a children's book that put them in stepmothers in positive lights like you have been to your stepchildren. And it went as far as you completely switching careers
Mm-hmm.
from working in finance to then going back to school to get your master's in social work so you can work with blended families. So how does it make you feel listening to something where the stepmom is portrayed in such a negative light?
I mean, it's par for the course because we're always portrayed that way. Whereas a stepdad is a hero. They're just they came in and they raised kids that weren't theirs, and they're a hero. And then the stepmom is like the villain who, you know, broke up the family or is overstepping or whatever. So I'm used to it. But then when you have a character like Brooke who like walks into that stereotype, it is a little bit frustrating. But just like a side anecdote, the first time I met my stepchildren, the very first day, obviously they weren't my stepchildren yet. They were my boyfriend's children. And we thought it was a good idea to go to a movie. And the movie we went to was Cinderella.
No.
What?
And while it never like occurred to me until we're sitting there and the whole movie is about this evil stepmother. And it's now a family joke. I mean, like we laugh about it a lot, but like talk about, could you have picked a worse activity?
No.
Like, let's watch this film about your future. Like
You should have gone to see Stepmom with Julia Roberts and Susan
God.
Sarandon.
That's one of the hardest I've ever cried in a movie.
That's a very, very sad movie.
I can't believe you did that. That is
I know.
That's so
ill-advised.
It was really, but now it's just like a family joke. Every now and then, like one of my stepdaughters will be like, remember when we saw Cinderella the first day we met you?
I think the only worst portrayal of a stepmom in a movie would be The Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yep.
that is, you know, Cinderella, it's like, okay, well, she's wicked and like there's witches and stuff. But like The Parent Trap is real. And she's like young and hot. And like she comes in and she's like, I will send you little brats off to prep school.
Meredith.
Do you think the term stepmom is pejorative? Do you dislike it? Do you like it? Do you care?
No, I don't really care. I mean, there's like a school of thought that like bonus mom is better. I don't really care. It's just a word.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm honestly just too tired to care.
This is one of the reasons I was so excited to have you on this podcast, because I forgot this happens. During this photo shoot, they're like, where's Easton? Has anybody heard from Easton? Has anybody heard from him? He's not texting us back. Chris, can you explain why that made me laugh?
Yes, of course, because growing up, the sentence...
Still,
certainly. But the sentence, where's Nick, has been uttered more in our family than I think any other phrase ever. And it's all stems from Jacqueline, who loves her family very much, but also might have some clinical issues that she needs to address, where if she can't get in contact with a family member, she spirals out of control and assumes the very, very worst. And so she will call your cell phone or show up at your apartment at 6 a.m. because your phone died the night of your birthday and bang on the door to make sure that you're home safely, even though you have a special lady friend in the room with you. And it's humiliating.
oh God.
Right down the street. So it wasn't like I took a subway. I walked
At
3
6 a.m.
blocks. Yep, at 6 a.m.
And you are
Don't
not a
try and
morning
make this
person.
normal.
No regrets. No regrets.
Okay, but acknowledge that it's
No.
abnormal
It's not
behavior.
normal. It is abnormal behavior. And so I would not have handled it well should I have not been able to reach Easton. And Reed's going to Ella, just try not to worry about it. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay. Well, I've heard that before from you. He's fine. He's fine. But so what happens though is that I get worked up and then I work everybody else up just because I'll be like, have you heard from Chris? You haven't heard from him today? And then that'll get the gears rolling and Nick will be like, whoa, I didn't hear from Chris today. And then my mom will be like, mom will be like, no, I didn't hear from Chris today. Then everybody's looking for Chris.
Yeah.
It's a healthy cycle.
Everybody except except casting directors.
Well, that's their loss.
Yeah.
But I, to be honest, I have like anxiety issues. I've dealt with them my whole life. It all started when Nick got lost in Jumpin' Jimmy's in 1994, maybe. So Nick, it's your fault. But yeah, so we're working on it. Although, come on, it's gotten better.
It has gotten better.
Gotten so much better. Well, because your focus is now on your kids.
No, you know what though? It's not even that bad though. I will say, I feel like I got like a lot of that out on like the two of you. I don't know. I mean, I am definitely anxious about my kids, like, but I feel like it's within normal limits.
So you would not have handled this Easton
No,
not showing up.
it was giving me. I was anxious.
Yeah.
Listening to the show.
But he does end up showing up. His eyes are all screwed over, and he definitely looks high, which Reed sees right away. And he says, "No, I was just up late staying at Sav's." But the other question I had for you, Jacqueline, is have you ever used a bump it?
that reference made me laugh out loud.
That reference and the Snooki reference, those are old man alarms, because I do not know if current high schoolers would know who Snooki is, and definitely wouldn't know what a bump it is.
No, I think they do, because it's like a whole like meme. They don't know it because it's popular or they lived it. They know it because it's made fun of.
Yeah. Oh, it is? Why, do people still use it occasionally?
No,
it's like no one uses that. I never used one. I could do it myself though. I had like my little poof all the time.
Go off, queen.
It was my signature hairdo.
Back to the scene real quick. They're eating sashimi at their high school cafeteria.
Oh, I know.
Sashimi, and they're kind of complaining about it. They go to a very wealthy high school. We went to the second best public high school in our town. We were like the younger brother's school. And Jacqueline,
No, we were. What do you mean? We weren't.
Norwalk High School got all the funding and all of the love until a few years in for me. So when we Jacqueline started at McMahon, like it was run down. There was asbestos and leaks, and like it hadn't been touched in like 50 years, the school. And our school lunch was very much like, you get a tray, you walk down the line, you get a scoop of what is being served. And then our whole school got redone, but it was done after you left, I think, right, Jacqueline?
They broke ground while I was a senior.
Okay. So I actually got to enjoy the fruits of the labor during the like the new cafeteria, and it had
nice
like
pun.
Oh yeah. There was no fruit at this cafeteria. They had like sections. There was like a sandwich section, there was a hot food section, there was like an international section, there was French fries, there was
first of all, the French fries when I was there were banging.
Yeah. I don't think they allowed them.
Yeah, they got rid of those by the time I got there.
They were $1.
Yeah.
And they were banging.
Yeah.
They got rid of them.
I used to try to get there early because they would make really good breakfast sandwiches, like sausage, egg, and cheese, bacon, egg, and cheese on English muffins.
In the morning?
Uh-huh.
We never got there early.
No.
That must have been when you were
after you
yourself.
left. Yeah, when I would drive myself. Yeah.
Which, by the way, this is the other thing that I wanted to say. Uh-huh. In one episode, you referenced the fact that I punched you in the face. And I feel like I need to clear my name right now.
Go for it.
You were like, yeah, our sister closed fist punched me in the face.
True or false?
But I've never done that.
True or false?
Oh, 100% true. I just want everyone to know that you deserved it.
Okay, fair.
I don't take it back.
Okay.
There was a time where you like wouldn't call me a bitch because like that would get you in trouble. So you called me a beast.
That's right.
All day. Every day. A beast. Like everything I did, you're a beast. You're a beast. And
which is very much the...
You did say you're the most athletic.
It's very much the I'm not touching you of swear words.
Yes, absolutely. So we were running late per usual, and you were blaming it on me. I was blaming it on you. We were in my white Pathfinder at the bottom of our driveway, and you called me a beast, and I just closed fisted you like, side, and I got you real bad. And then you called me a beast again, and I put the car in park, and you pulled my hair. It was a scene.
But I didn't hit you back. I didn't hit you back.
You didn't. You pulled my hair, though.
Well.
But you know what? I found you in school and apologized because I did feel bad. And then we didn't even tell our parents.
We wanted to wait. We wanted to wait until we could do it on a national platform.
Did you have a swollen lip or like bloody
Yes.
lip or anything?
Yeah, I had a
did.
fat lip. And
Damn, you never hit me. I was always very protected.
Yeah, but I did kick you that time, but you told that story.
Yeah. Well, anyway, speaking of you guys driving in a car together, Reed and Ella are driving in a car together.
Good work, Nick.
And,
hey, that's a 5 out of 5, dude. That's a 5 out of 5 transition.
Thank you.
That's how you
Thank
transition.
You. And back to, it's more of the Easton hasn't gotten back to me. I'm started worried about him, and Reed's like, just calm down. But then they start talking about like what schools Ella's going to apply to, and she talks about different colleges and how she has to consider all these different life paths she could possibly take. And it made me think about that time when you're younger and you feel like you have to choose one path and you couldn't possibly switch from it. So it felt like this huge decision. But Jacqueline, I think you are the perfect example that it's never too late to go after what you're passionate about. You completely switched careers. Mm-hmm. You've switched schools, colleges. You transferred colleges. What gives you the bravery to do all those things? And is it me, and why?
I think if I'm not happy, I can't fake it. I'm just not one of those people who, and I'll really try. Like I started at GW like Chris. And
George Washington University.
Represent, go Colonials. And it just wasn't the right fit for me. I tried really hard to make it work. It didn't work. So I left, which I know is hard to do, but it wasn't really that hard. It was fine. I went, ended up at University of Virginia, had a blast there. I feel like I was there the whole time, made a lot of amazing friends. But I did that because I didn't find my passion or my place, or I didn't feel like I belonged to anything at GW. And I immediately felt that at UVA. And the same thing goes for my career. I worked in finance for almost a decade, and it was great, and I learned a lot. But there was like no fire there anymore towards the end. And then I became a mom, and my whole thought process shifted because I just thought, if I'm going to be away from my kid, there was only one of them at the time. If I'm going to be away from him all day, then I need to be doing something that like inspires me. So I left that job, and all of this, I'm very lucky to be able to do all of this, and a lot of support from my husband and my family. But I left that job, went to applied to grad school, went full time, got my master's in social work. And because of, my family situation and being a stepmom and seeing like just firsthand how difficult the family court system can be on families, I really wanted to start something on my own where I could help people who are, going through divorce or becoming new step parents or trying to blend their families or trying to, co-parent effectively. I wanted to start something that could service that group, that demographic. So I ended up meeting someone who had the same goals, and we've been working together to do that for the past almost 3 years now, which is crazy. So yes, that's a plug for anyone who's listening. You might think you have, wherever you are now is the end of the road in terms of career choices or passions, etc. And it's just simply not. I was 32 when I went to grad school. And in my class, by the way, I was in the middle of the age bracket.
Really?
I had friends in their 50s and their 60s who are just starting over. And I don't know, it's so cool. I think that those things aren't really highlighted. Those type of shifts aren't really highlighted, and it's so glamorized that you you get your bachelor's, and then you go get a career in whatever that is, or you go directly to law school, directly to med school, and you just know at age 18 when we're dumb as shit, you just know exactly what you're going to do, and that's the path you're going to be on forever, and it's bullshit. And I tell my stepdaughters that all the time because I think they're both in that phase where they're like, well, what college do we go to? And what should I major in? And it's like, just, you don't have to have all the answers right now, because if things don't work out, you can pivot. It's easier said than done, but you can do it. It's possible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. That's amazing.
let's get to the heart of this episode, which is the Easton and Reed fight.
That was really good.
Really? Why?
It was really good. Well, it felt very real to me. Not that the three of us fought a lot, but I've seen some bigger fights between the two of you, and Chris has like a fight voice, and that is like what you did. That it was real. That Reed fight voice is the Chris fight voice.
Yeah.
What is the Nick fight voice?
Oh, no,
Silence?
leave me alone. Guys, you're being mean to me. Please, no.
It's more like, tortoisey. You just like go into your... No, but when you get really mad, you pop off too. It just takes more.
I've been told I get an Italian accent when I get upset, frustrated by friends. Like not Italian, like Northeast Italian.
Give us an example.
Are you fucking kidding me? I don't understand what that means.
So, Tommy, are you kidding me? Me and my boys are gonna give you a gabagool and a studio down.
Yeah. Nick, I had to say I've never heard that one, but...
Yeah, well, I don't get mad at you.
No, when you do, you just don't talk to me for several months.
That's true. You are a little bitch that way.
That's for another time.
I find drugs... This is I was very relatable scene because this is a classic, like, masculine thing where it's like, I'm concerned about you, but the only way I know how to show it is by being tough and being like, give me it! Yeah! I'll kick your ass if you do drugs again, which obviously these teenagers are not equipped to handle such circumstances, but, he does it, and then he says it, it's my responsibility to take care of you, which is something I relate to as an older brother. And I wonder, Jacqueline and Nick, if you relate to that type of thing.
Absolutely.
Nick, what do you think?
I just don't recall. Jacqueline says she remembers big fights between us. I feel like, when would you have been?
I remember one specifically.
Okay.
With the Jets hat.
Oh, yeah. I got a new Jets hat, and Chris wiped his ass with it.
Yeah, but what was the leading up to it? Like, that was like the peak. Because Chris goes like, it's like, okay, we're chugging along in the fight. And then Chris goes like 400, level 4 million, whatever, 0 to 4 million, like that. And that was that. It was the tipping point. I don't remember what the fight was about, but it culminated in Chris at the front door wiping his ass with Nick's.
I didn't wipe. Okay, wait a second. I didn't wipe.
You shoved it down your pants and rubbed it on your ass.
I shoved it on my butt, but I didn't like wipe my ass crack with it like I was cleansing.
Yeah? Then look at this stain right now. I'm wearing it right now.
Well, listen, it's the Jets. They deserve it.
Wait, but do you remember? I don't remember what the fight was about.
I don't remember what the fight was, but I do remember that because it was like so absurd. I think we all just started laughing.
I know.
But that's
usually Chris's MO. That's what he does. He like he ups the ante so much that all we could do is just like in the car in Italy.
Yeah, but
he'll break a glass.
But listen, that I've unpacked this behavior with my therapist, and she says it is common, especially of a middle child who, when things feel out of control or whatever, they explode so that all of the attention goes to them so that everything else stops. It's almost like, like exploding a bomb so that all the other arguments stop and it's all focused on one thing. And I don't do it consciously. Oh, I don't do it anymore because I'm a grown man. But, well, I don't. Come on. I've grown. I don't have the anger issues I once did. Then we come out of a commercial break and we have the big moment. We hear sirens and Reed runs into Ella's room, wakes her up and says Easton has overdosed. And then chaos ensues.
Sorry.
They run to the hospital. It's very emotional. I thought there was some good acting happening in this scene, both in our fight, Nick. Sure. I thought it was really well acted. I thought I was proud of the work that we all did. And then Ella instinctually calls Isaac, which is very interesting. Her other boo, because she's triggered by being in the hospital. She hasn't been in the hospital since her mother was in there dying. And I don't know. What is everyone's thoughts on Ella's reaction?
Well, I think that she calls him because he represents the stability in her life, and it was all that chaos. And I can relate. And I usually call you guys when that kind of stuff happens. Someone that grounds you instantly. And I think that he is that for her.
Did anyone else feel though that he was like underselling the situation a bit? She was like, I think I should go back. He could be dying, and he's like, everything's fine. Like, I don't know. I would have been like, no, you're right. You should go back.
Yeah, I
he's
felt
a cuck.
I felt that way too. But I think he's young and he's trying to spend as much time with this girl. He's sort of like in the battle for her. But also, I think everything Ellis tells him about this family is like at a 10. So in his defense, I could see it being a little bit of like, yeah, this is just par for the course. The shit's crazy. Easton is drunk. But like, this is the same thing you tell me every time you talk about these people. So like, I'm sure it's fine. But it definitely belies the gravity of the situation because we don't know what he overdoses on, do we? Painkillers.
He says he got coke from a girl and then test your drugs.
Oh, right.
Kids.
Right. Which, especially now, A, you shouldn't be doing drugs. B, if you are, please test them. And if you're having problems, please seek help.
I mean, what's interesting about this scene is everyone takes responsibility. Reed takes responsibility. Savannah takes responsibility. Ella takes responsibility. Callum takes responsibility. It's like, whose fault is it?
That's the thing. It's the entire family system's fault. It's everybody's fault.
Yes.
How so?
Because Callum, from what I understand in my very limited exposure to this series, is a shitty dad. And, Reed maybe and Ella maybe have unintentionally enabled Easton to be able to go off and turn his phone off and do drugs.
Don't you think some people are predisposed genetically, chemically to
100%
addiction?
Of course. And he probably is. But then you have this fucked up family that isn't helping the situation at all.
And the shame of it is they have every resource at their disposal because, many people don't have the wealth and resources that they have to get help. They do. They just lack the awareness or knowledge or love and attention to get it for him.
But they also, the double-edged sword is they have the resources also to have the lifestyle that is craziness and drugs and partying.
I think that given the history, especially with losing their mother to addiction, you would think that they would be a little bit more attentive and better suited to deal with it. But I also think that, and this goes back to, you joke at me for like exploding and having like going over the top, but it generally stops things in its tracks. And, Easton bottoming out here could be the catalyst for actual real change and a real wake up call for him and the rest of the family to be like, okay, this isn't just some kid being a kid. This isn't just recreational. Easton's being a silly clown. Like, this is real. He almost died.
Yeah. Easton needs help and we all need help type aha moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Reed needs to not have to feel like he has to be the dad because that's not fair to him.
Okay. But wait, real quick. Then the episode ends with the huge reveal is that Easton does not think that Brooke is pregnant. Oh my God. That's crazy.
But also, what a funny scene. This was this is my favorite scene to act. I thought there was a lot of good juice here. She's coming in. I just OD'd. I'm on a hospital bed and I'm like full on petty detective mode. Which I thought was very fun. It was. I hope you enjoy listening to it.
I did. I love it. Well, first
the
of all,
ultrasound
I live
generator
for that. I live for petty detective mode. So
yeah, I know. If you need some inside scoop on an ex-girlfriend or a current girlfriend or anybody, go to an older sister with a social media account. Okay,
so now comes the time of the show. Jacqueline, you're a fan, so you know what's happening. It's time for Royal Decrees. Hear ye, a royal decree. Why don't you go first?
Sure. So I learned something new about you, Nick, on one of the episodes. I didn't know you had a nap pass.
Yeah.
Which is just hilarious. But my royal decree is that nap passes be a thing. Like, we are doing everything wrong in this country. They have like a whole siesta culture in Europe where you go home from like 12 to 2 and you eat lunch, you take a little snoozy, and then you come back to work. And like, I live for a nap. And so that would just be the best. So I think we should make nap passes like a thing. And no matter what you do, no matter what your job is, you can drop that pass any day, anytime, and go home and sleep for 2 hours.
How many do you get?
Unlimited. It's a daily thing.
What a great decree.
You get one a day.
One a day.
Wow.
I love that.
That's my decree.
That's a great decree. I would love a job pass where I can get a job. That would be what I want. My royal decree is very simple. I think pineapple is disgusting and it should be outlawed. Pina coladas are disgusting. Pineapple flavor, pineapples, the shape of them is ugly. Everything about pineapples are disgusting. The touch of them makes me want to vomit. It's it's like fruit with splinters in it. I hate it. It makes me so angry. And then you throw coconut in there, and I hate coconut. And it's like coconut's like eating paper. And basically anything tropical flavor is disgusting and has no business in my mouth.
Wow. Really aggressive and just
aggressive.
wrong.
No. Pineapple, by the way, the universal sign for swingers.
No, it's
So, like,
I
if
thought it was
couples-
a pelican or a flamingo.
Who are we kidding? Why does anyone, no
Because
one on
they're-
this
the
call
apartment
knows
across
or has any
apartment across
experience
from us-
in that?
My royal decree is start swinging.
apartment across from us has a like neon flamingo that lights up at night, and somebody once said like, "Oh, that means that their swingers live there." Okay, well, that's a bad royal decree, but here's mine. I think we need to lower the temperature on award shows. Not all of them need to be televised. I do like celebrating art, but awards are kind of stupid, and it's all subjective. And no one, I don't know. It's too much. It's too much. It's become a little bit too much for me. There's just like a one every night. Critics' Choice Awards was last night. Emmys is tonight. The Golden Globes was last week. The SAG Awards are coming up. Blah, 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 blah. There's just so many awards. And I have not gotten any. So when I start getting recognition, I will definitely change this decree. But for now, let's lower the temperature a little bit.
Yeah, when you start getting recognition and then they roll this tape.
Yeah.
They roll this audio.
So Jacqueline, at the end, we always give our guests an opportunity to talk about upcoming clients, some client-patient confidentiality stuff. So
break HIPAA rules.
Yeah. Or any specific client you want to tell us.
Anybody specifically fucked up?
Or like their most embarrassing thing. And if you could use their full name and social security number, that'd be great.
I don't have a witty comeback, so I got nothing.
Oh, you and Nick have something in common. Yeah. Okay, so let's get out of here. Jacqueline, we love you so much. We look up to you. We wouldn't be here without you. So thank you for being here with us.
You're my favorite person, more than Chris. This should be the royal siblings. Maybe it will be.
No, I think this is our last episode, actually. They're going to cancel us.
No. You guys are doing so great.
Oh, thanks, Jack.
I love it. I'm a huge fan. Huge fan.
Thanks. Well, we're a huge fan of yours. And
yeah, thank you so much for doing this. We love you very much. We'll talk
I love you
probably 3 more times today.
All right. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Jacqueline, thanks for swinging by. Nick, whatever. See you.
Thanks, everybody.
Love you all.
Bye.